Today, I'm going to talk about the phonology, the branch of the linguistic that studies the sound system of the language and how the speech sounds work together to create a meaning. Our presentation is divided into three topics: basic principles and the features, phonological presentations, and phonemes and alphons. 1. Basic principle and the features first. Phonology studies the role and the patterns of the sound in the language. Every language has its own sound system and specific ways of combining sounds. Important features include stress, rhythm, and intonation, which helps us communicate meaning effectively. 2. Phonology representation. Second, phonetical representations are the mental organization of the sounds in our minds. They explain how the speakers store and understand the sounds partners of their language and why some sounds change depending on the context. The third, phonemes and alphons. Finally, phonemes in the smallest unit of the sound that can change the meaning of the word. For example, the sounds P and B make the words the pat and bat different. Alphons are different pronunciations of the same phoneme that do not change the meaning of the word.
Hi everyone, this concept map presents the basic principle and feature of phonology. First, phonology studies how speech sounds are organized to create meaning in a language. The first section shows the basic principles. Sounds are organized in a systematic way. They help distinguish the meaning of a word and they follow pronunciation rules that speakers use naturally. The second section presents in the main features. Phonology focuses on the mental organization of sounds. Each language has its own sound system, and patterns like stress, rhythm, and intonation can affect meaning. Next, the map shows the two branches of phonology. Segmental phonology studies vowels and consonants, while suprasegmental phonology studies stress, tone, rhythm, and intonation. Finally, phonology is important because it helps us improve our pronunciation, listening skill, and pronunciation in English.
Phonological representation is the ways speakers' mentality store the sound system of their language, instead of keeping very physical details of pronunciation. Speakers store sounds of abstract units called phonemes. These phonemes can be pronounced directly depending on the context, but speakers still recognize them as the same sound. For example, in English, the phoneme T is aspirated in the word like top, but it's inserted after S, as in top, even top. The pronunciation change. Both sounds represent the same underlying phoneme because aspiration is not constricted in English. This idea comes from the traditional generative view of phonology, which assumes that lexical aspiration should be economical. Only undescribable information is stored, and predictable details are generated later by rules. Some researchers also talk about industrification, which means that not every feature needs to store for every sound. This shows that our mental system of language is organized and structured, not just a copy of what we hear.
Phoneme and allophone. A phoneme is the smallest unit of sound that can distinguish the meaning of one word from the another. It is considered a mental representation of a sound rather than a specific pronunciation. For this reason, phonemes are represented between slashes. For example, big and pig. Allophones are the different phonetic realization of the same phoneme. This variation may depend on the phonetic environment, the speaker's accent, or individual speech pattern. Although the pronunciation changes slightly, the meaning of the word remains the same. Allophones are represented between square brackets, for example, water. In American English, the pronunciation is water, and British English, the pronunciation is water. The different sound is the letter T. We also find the minimal pairs are the sound that make the smallest difference between two words and are divided in categories. First, vowel sound, for example, sit and sit. We feel like we're expelling air. Consonant sound, for example, 3 and 3. We don't feel like we're expelling air. Initial consonant sound, for example, fast and past. And final consonant sound, for example, hat and hat.
Conclusion. In conclusion, phonology is an essential area of the linguistic because it helps us understand how the speech sounds are organized and how they function in the language. By studying basic principles and features, we learn the rules that govern sound patterns. Those phonological representation, we understand how sounds are stored and processed in our minds. Finally, we discuss association between phonemes and allophones. We can see how the small difference in the pronunciation can affect a meaning or simply create variations of the same sound. Overall, the study of the phonology allows us to better understand human communication and the structure of the language around the world. Thank you very much for your attention.